way. So we have got a trick to remember this. So you have to just remember one. Press. Preganglionic fibers are shorter in case of sympathetic. Okay. So basically we are remembering one core sentence that you have to remember, that what something sympathy equals to hurt. So what is sympathetic, you can relate it to hurt. That's why sympathetic is increasing or stimulating the heart, and it is depressing all other organs. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. So let's start with another new chapter of pharmacology, that is a drug acting on the autonomic nervous system. So basically in this video we're going to discuss the basics that we already know from our anatomy and the physiology part of the nervous system. So let's begin. So as you all know, we have divided the nervous system into two parts. We have somatic nervous system, and a part of the nervous system is called the autonomic nervous system. So basically the brain and spinal cord comes under the category of the central nervous system, and the emerging nerves, whether it may be cranial nerves or the spinal nerves, that comes from the category of the peripheral nervous system. So if the part of the central nervous system that is dealing with the somatic supply, that is supplying the muscles, that comes in the category of the somatic nervous system. So somatic nervous system, the part of the nervous system which supply muscles, okay, and the rest of the part of the nervous system comes in the category of the autonomic nervous system. Again, we have divided the autonomic nervous system into two parts, a parasympathetic nervous system and a sympathetic nervous system. So by the end of this video, I am pretty sure you will clearly define the function of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic easily, and you could easily differentiate them. So let's start with the parasympathetic and the sympathetic part, that is the autonomic nervous system, which is the main motive of concern in this video. So we divide the autonomic nervous system into two parts. We have a parasympathetic nervous system and a sympathetic nervous system. So parasympathetic nervous system originates from the craniosacral region. So it arises from the craniosacral part. So it is also called the craniosacral outflow. These all basics we have already discussed in the anatomy part. So if you want a detailed video on this nervous system, kindly check out the playlist of the anatomy. And sympathetic arises from the thoracolumbar region of the spinal cord. That's why it is called the thoracolumbar outflow. So basically you can see here the brain and the emerging spinal cord. Here we have the midbrain, bones and medulla. So that's the part of the brain. So the nerves are rising from the brain. That's part of the cranial outflow. That's why it is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. And the part arising from the lower part, that is the sacral region, also comes in the category of the parasympathetic nervous system. So here we have the PNS and PNS. And the part arising from the thoracolumbar region basically are the sympathetic flow, that is the thoracolumbar outflow. So here the sympathetic nervous system, SNS. Now we have to know something about what is called the ganglion. Ganglion is nothing but a group of neurons, and if it's present within the central nervous system, it is called the nucleus, and if it's present in the peripheral nervous system, it is called the ganglia. So this really point here we have, it is called the ganglia, as it is present in the peripheral nervous system. The nerves which are terminating in the ganglia, that comes from the part of the central nervous system, are basically called the preganglionic fibers. So here we have the preganglionic. These are the preganglionic fibers. And the fibers originating from the ganglion and supplying different organs are called the postganglionic fibers. So the fibers arising after the ganglia are called the postganglionic fibers. Postganglionic. And the postganglionic fibers finally supply the different organs. Okay, so we have got some basics of the autonomic nervous system. Now let's talk about this preganglionic and the postganglionic fibers and the difference in the sympathetic and the parasympathetic part. So as it is very clearly visible in the diagram, in the parasympathetic part, that is in the craniosacral outflow, the preganglionic fibers are very longer, while the postganglionic fibers are shorter, and the opposite in the case of the sympathetic part. In the sympathetic part, we have the shorter preganglionic fibers, and while we have the longer postganglionic fibers. So let's write the points that we have discussed. So preganglionic fibers of parasympathetic are larger and the preganglionic fibers of sympathetic are shorter, and the opposite occurs when we discuss about the postganglionic fibers. So this was the preganglionic fibers. What about the postganglionic fibers? Postganglionic fibers of parasympathetic are shorter and the postganglionic fibers of sympathetic are longer. So basically you are studying with the MBBS class with Ashish, that's MCWA. So we have got a trick to remember this. So you have to just remember one. Press. Preganglionic fibers are shorter in case of sympathetic. Okay. So basically we are remembering the very first one, that is the preganglionic fibers of the sympathetic are shorter. From this you can derive all the rest of the three. How? See, if preganglionic fibers are shorter in the case of sympathetic, it will be longer in the case of parasympathetic, and the opposite will occur in the postganglionic fibers. So this basic you should know, and that's the trick also. Press. Now let's find out the difference between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic part. So we have got only one very important keyword. Sympathetic stimulates the heart and depresses the rest all other organs. So if you know this sentence, you can easily derive the function of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. So let's see them. So let's in general discuss about the differences in the function of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system. So basically you have to just remember one sentence. See, the word sympathetic किससे रिलेटेड होती है? हार्ट से. सिंपैथी किससे रिलेटेड है? हार्ट से. और आपको ये बात पता है तो इजीली सारे फंक्शन ड्राइव कर सकते हैं. सो सिंपैथेटिक स्टिमुलेट्स द हार्ट. Sympathy is related to heart, that's why sympathetic stimulates heart and depresses rest other organs. So basically the very first organ with respect to what we are just going to discuss is the heart. So sympathetic system will stimulate the heart, so opposite will occur in the case of the parasympathetic. So the function of the sympathetic and parasympathetic are just antagonistic to each other. If sympathetic is stimulating, the parasympathetic will depress. So this is in relation to the heart. While if you talk about the all other organs in general, all other organs, the parasympathetic will, what it will do? Yes, I think we are quite clever to tell. It will stimulate while the sympathetic will depress. Okay, so if we talk about all other organs, let's talk about some of the organs in detail that are usually commonly asked. That is the first one we are going to discuss about the bronchus. Second commonly dealt organ is the GIT. Third is the bladder. Fourth are the glands, and most important the salivary glands. But in general we are discussing about the glands. And the last one is the pupil. So as I told you, parasympathetic will stimulate all other organs and it will depress the heart. So what is the function in the case of the bronchus? It will cause bronchoconstriction because it is stimulating the bronchus. Bronchoconstriction. And the opposite will function of the sympathetic, that is the depression, bronchodilation. What of the GIT? GIT will cause the increase in the movement of the GIT will be caused by the parasympathetic. So which disease or which condition will be caused? That is the diarrhea. While constipation or decreased GIT flow will occur in case of the sympathetic. Constipation. So constipation is somewhat related to the sympathetic because the movements in the GIT are reduced, while diarrhea is that something related to the parasympathetic, as the movements of the GIT are very much increased by the increase in the parasympathetic stimulation. What of the bladder? Bladder we've already discussed, and I think you all know. Constriction of the bladder will occur by the stimulation of the parasympathetic. That's why there will be increased urine outflow, while decreased urine outflow will occur in the case of the sympathetic, because parasympathetic is supplying some of the sphincters that is responsible for the micturition. What of the glands? As parasympathetic stimulates all other organs, basically it will cause the increase in secretion, while and the sympathetic opposite, that is the decrease in secretion, will occur. Pupil, it will cause meiosis, parasympathetic, and mydriasis will caused by the sympathetic. That is basically a constriction of the pupil and the dilation of the pupil. Mydriasis. So basically one core sentence that you have to remember, that what something sympathy equals to hurt. So what is sympathetic? You can relate it to hurt. That's why sympathetic is increasing or stimulating the heart, and it is depressing all other organs. So this was all about the basics that you should know before starting the drug setting on the autonomic nervous system. So if you like the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.